Marcel, Man United 1, Brighton 2. We've lost at the Amex, first defeat of the season. How do you sum it up? Because there's a lot to unpack in that game.
But I'm actually upset. I genuinely thought we would win this game. For me, I thought, Ten Hag, the way he set up the team, it looked all right. And we played well for the first 30 minutes or so. It's just his decision making, the changes in the second half, it's completely changed the outlook of the game. I think we had, it was quite even in terms of key chances or important chances in the first half. I think Ahmad had one and then they had their one, which they took. And we had a couple moments, couple headers and that from Cass and generally, Rashi was kind of wayward in terms of his dribbling stuff, but there was moments where he got free. Mason Mount had a shot in the first half. Ahmad was kind of okay. He wasn't really that good though. When I remember Onana giving him a long pass and freeing him a couple times, and then he didn't really do much with it. But I don't know. The structure of the team really does depend on what Mason Mount's doing, and I thought that it could potentially be a thing where it would depend on Bruno and how he usually plays in the 10. But I think you could have taken Bruno out. The team should have been without Bruno and maybe a focal point 9, and you might have got a bit more out of the team, because the way that Mason Mount presses from the 10 position, it just it connects the team a lot better in the forward line and the midfield line. And then you have to get Casemiro off the pitch immediately after 50 or minutes in a game of football. I think he just starts to lose the energy. The passes become wayward. There's just so much wrong with what Ten Hag's decision making was today. It's individual errors and individual performances are really poor. Maguire was really, really bad. The first phase of that cross that comes in, so has to deal with it, Flex. And then the second time when it comes back again, just was really poor, to be honest with you. And then Brighton had they bring their subs. The credit to their manager, the subs that come on, it adds energy to the team, and the second half they just was at it. Straight away from the second half, the first 10 minutes, pressing, Pedro dribbling through the lines, and then Milner has a shot. They just played better in that second half after a kind of. I feel like we had control of that first half, but it was even at the end of it. So,
and we keep seeing that, isn't it? Like, don't we? Like playing well for spells. And that was it, when we were watching it, that we were still reserved, weren't we? Because we were like, oh, half an hour, yes, this is what we want to see. But we're like, haven't scored yet, and something will probably happen. And it's like reverting to type, it felt.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, it's interesting because against the Fulham game, we had a lot more chances for all the effort that we was putting in. But in this game, there's no chances for that, and then you kind of see everyone get a bit nervy, a bit tentative. So the mentality there, especially away from home, we've mentioned it before. Just in terms of being good away from home, it's not really there at the moment, and you can see that's a big issue. But it needs to change. I don't know what the players could have really. We expect more from them. We just expect more from them. Rashford just didn't look like he was here. Ahmad, up until the moment that he scores, he didn't really have a blistering game. I was kind of saying maybe he needs to come off the pitch, but then he just has a really good moment, and he has that in him. But I think Mason Mount was really important to this team, and then maybe taking Cass off at some stage. Maguire maybe now Ten Hag, I think, can see maybe he doesn't start games going forward because his job's on the line here. He needs to perform this season.
So is that the thing there? You're saying just back to Mount, so Mount's to keep Mount's really important for us. Is that what you see it, or do you feel like this is what the conundrum is now? What do we do? Because Bruno looks better when he's a little bit further forward. Mount looked better in that bit where the team played well. How do you fix that? Because we've bought 2 number 9s. The plan is to have Xerxes/Rasmus as our strikers.
Yeah.
So clearly, someone's got to go.
It's a squad game. It's a squad game. So he has this conundrum, and what we've seen in the first 2 games, and even if you look at the preseason, but no people won't look at the preseason. But if you just look at the first 2 games and how we pressed, both times when Mason Mount comes off, it becomes a bit of a basketball match or open. It becomes open, and that's an issue. The structure, the way the game feels, even in the Fulham game when Xerxes came on, yes, he was connecting the play and coming into pockets, but he wasn't even getting that much of the ball. With Mason Mount there, it's like first touch passes into wide players, but he's secure back to goal with the ball. Bruno's trying to produce more critical chances for us by threading the ball through the lines and key passes. He's trying to do that, but it weren't connecting today. That becomes a massive issue. That's why he gets taken off. Okay, the poor decision maybe for putting Scott there because, okay, you're desperate for a goal, but maybe, you mentioned it, maybe more control and freeze the game is the term that you used. Maybe you put Eriksen on instead then. Someone that's just going to be a bit more slow with the ball, connect more with Ahmad and let us build into the game. There was moments where Ahmad was doing that, where there was chances he can rush it and go forward. But I think it was in the first half mainly as well, where he just says, okay, let's get the whole team into the opposition half and break down these banks of four. You just didn't have those, clinical edge in front of goal in the first half. But Ten Hag made a very bad call taking off Mount. It could have been injury, which is what he mentions post-match.
He said he's picked up a knock and his history. We have to be aware of that. And then obviously quickly pivoted to Xerxes, they'd say, and he's made a good comment. But the main thing it sounded like he was saying was he had an issue.
Worried, massively worried. And if anything,
injuries.
more injuries. But if anything, then I say keep Bruno in the 8. After a while, find a way to get Bruno further back in the pitch. So maybe to pick up the ball and maybe free a Garnacho. If you're going to do that 70th, 80th minute, put a Garnacho on. He can play the long passes over the top to a Garnacho. But it's a massive issue. I think Mount needs to stay in the 10. Maybe an Ahmad goes into the 10. Someone that is going to do the pressing in the right way, because Ahmad does do it in the right way, especially from the wide areas, but he's doing it in the right way. Bruno, I don't know. It just felt weird the way the team just kind of changed. Yes, we're at 6s and 7s in the second half as well. But this is on Ten Hag. This is on Ten Hag and individual performances from Maguire, from Bruno. Bruno played really poorly. Rashford played really badly as well, unfortunately.
So it's like Ten Hag and players to blame.
Yeah, facts. And this is not good. I believe that we was going to win this game. I believed it was going to be Liverpool as well. But it's only when we play the way that we played against Fulham, and it's only when we played the way that we played in the first half, because you can see an idea.
Yeah, and it's just like, what, we just can't seem to keep that going. So basically what we're saying is you take one domino out of that, which was Mason Mount, and the whole thing just
madness
couldn't work.
Madness that I'm even saying that, and I don't want to give an excuse for that.
Yeah.
He's at blame. It's a squad game. He's got plenty of players at his disposal.
Yeah. If you had to come off, you had to come off. But I'm saying it's just worrying that the fact that you have to take one off, the rest can't work it out. It's
Facts. Yeah. I'm saying that Ten Hag still has to take responsibility for this.
Yeah.
The fact that he's in this kind of predicament, that he couldn't find somebody else to do it in the right way and keep it as, that structure as strong as possible, especially like how it was in the first half. If he's got to shout at players then to keep it, to tell Bruno maybe to be more disciplined or be brave enough to take off Casemiro. He has to figure it out to keep it exactly like it was in the first half.
Well, he did make some brave calls. I will say, because we were eyebrows raised when Rashford went off, and even more eyebrows raised when Bruno went off.
Yes.
And they're the two most probably protected players in terms of minutes.
Fact.
So he did show that he's not scared to make the big decisions.
Yeah.
The Rashford one, I think people do agree with,
Yeah.
because he wasn't at it, and Garnacho come on and nearly scored again, pretty much did. But the Bruno one did puzzle people for Scott.
Yeah, so my thing is he's making big calls, but it's a squad game. Select a better player to get it closer to the style of football that was in the first half. Maybe instead of a Scott McTominay on, who's a box crasher, freeze the game a bit more like we was doing in the first half. Eriksen, just try it. Like I'm saying it right now, Casemiro is a 60-minute footballer, 50-minute footballer max. So after that, find another footballer. I said Toby, Toby, bring him on, fresh legs. It brings it more to what we was doing in the first half. Somebody that's very safe with the balls, got the energy, legs, younger player. Same with Rashi. Rashi for Garnacho is a straight swap, and we saw it. Garnacho more direct, should score that chance. I felt like maybe we should have been in the lead at that point, but then again, they had Welbeck header off the crossbar.
Milner off the line.
Deleuze clears it off the line. So 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. So, but I'm upset that we come out with this with 0 points.
Not hang on to a point there.
0 points at this stage of the season. Every single game is critical for us. Away performances against inferior teams, no disrespect to them, and big up to Brighton fans today. They're
definitely not inferior to us.
Definitely, they deserve this win today. But in my mind, quality for quality, man for man today, and that's the style of football that we tried to play. 4-4-2 against 4-4-2. We should have won this game, and we should have shown that we were better than them. And it's so weird to me that as soon as Mason Mount leaves the pitch, we're not playing that structured, well balanced 4-4-2.